Hi, this is Mark, and this is another episode of the ADD Show. Welcome. Well, today I wanted to get into what came out of the Supreme Court because there was a leaked memo showing that they want to overturn Roe versus Wade. This is a huge story on so many levels. One, for women's health right. Two, the upcoming election, which will be primaries are already starting in some states. Now, this is something that has been decided back in 1973 when Roe versus Wade became the law of the land. But since then, Republicans have been plotting to overturn. And as you can see, this was a huge concern when the Orange Man appointed 3 Supreme Court judges who all said, no, we're upholding it, and they are liars. So we had Judge Alito was the one who had this memo. Now, mind you, a case hasn't even come up yet, and they already wrote the majority opinion. So you have an opinion in the Supreme Court. When a case is ruled, that's why we have 9 judges. There's always going to be a majority unless one person has to abstain for some particular reason, like they had to be involved or had to recuse themselves. That's something that was coming up with Justice Thomas because his wife tried to overthrow the government. And if anything came up on January 6th, they thought that he shouldn't be allowed. In this situation, though, we had a case that came up, which was kind of this vigilante justice, which was making its way up. But that ruling hasn't been decided. There was another case in Mississippi as well. But as you can see, in a lot of these conservative states, basically meaning Republican-led states, they're already trying to get rid of abortion. A lot of them are at 15 weeks, and a lot of women don't even know that they're pregnant until much later. And they're forcing these clinics to go down. Now, a little bit about myself. I did march in the first Women's March when Trump came in office and he started attacking women's rights. Remember, he did announce that he would appoint judges who would overturn Roe versus Wade. Why? Just because he wanted to tap into the conservatives. He doesn't really believe it. He was pro-choice for a number of years until he saw that the Republicans are stupid, and that was for a way for him to be president. So here we are, stuck, because of the Orange Man appointing these judges, totally unqualified judges. Now, also, during the Senate confirmation hearing, these potential Supreme Court judges were asked specifically about it, went into some of the offices. For example, Susan Collins came out and she's like, these people lied. Well, yeah, of course they lied. And you can't come back now and say, well, we should have known better. No, we all said at the time this would happen. We knew it when the confirmation would come. We knew that these people were not qualified, and we knew their whole goal was to overturn Roe versus Wade. And here we are. We're stuck with this. When I was at the Women's March, the first one in LA, over 1 million people. I was on train going down, and there was granddaughter, mom, grandmom, all there. And grandmom was like, I've been dealing with this for years. And we all thought everything the case was already handed out and judged, but here we are again. And this is basically a test. We saw what happened in Texas with the vigilante justice. And now, if this passes, then they're going to start attacking other rights. They want to attack LGBTQ rights. They're already attacking trans kids, and also the same thing with gay parents. They want to get rid of that all. There's a lot of hypocrites out there. Case in point, look at Madison Cawthorn. He's this super conservative guy, and his whole thing was we want a Christian nation, support Trump. Well, it turns out that he's a fraud. He's trying to bring guns in the airport. There's pictures of him in women's lingerie at an event. Doesn't really matter that he was wearing that. No one's caring about that. It's just the fact that they're attacking LGBTQ and attacking women's rights. And this happens a lot in the Republican Party. They really don't have anything except these culture wars. That's what DeSantis is doing, to thinking that we're going to tap into these conservatives. They don't really give a shit about that. All they care about is their own power. They don't care about the women's lives that are being destroyed. So let's talk about that. So, who are the ones that are harmed the most? Well, as to be expected, it's the people that are unable to go to states that allow abortions. Poor. If you're rich, you can hop a plane, go over here in California, get an abortion, and you're fine. A lot of these states, they might have 1 or 2 clinics in it. And even then, so you can imagine, it's hard to get in. So a lot of pressure on the physicians or the people that work there. So people are still going to want to get abortions. That's what happened before. Now we're talking about health risks. And they're saying there's some of these states, they don't want any, if someone's raped or incest, then they still have to carry it through. There was one woman politician who's running and said, well, it's God's gift, and oh, well, too bad, it's a blessing. It's not a blessing if you're the person who has to take care of this child. It's an unnecessary burden placed on women, whether they realize they're not financially, not able mentally, or in the right place to be able to care for the child. And that's why we have the abortion. It is the woman's right. If you do not want to get an abortion, you do not have to get an abortion. We're already tapped out as far as adoptions. So basically, we're going to have people who are unable to care for the children, placing unnecessary burden on them. Why? Because some dumb Christian conservative movement thinks that they want to have this into a ultra right-wing conservative Christian country. If you want to do that, leave. A lot of these people are like, we want a Hungary style government. Great, move to Hungary. They don't want Orban there too, because what happens is when you have these type of leaders, they start taking away your rights. I don't believe in your rights, so keep to your own area and don't push it on other people. That's the bullshit of it. They're like, we don't want government in our lives, but we're going to put government in your lives about your body. That's the joke of this. It's all bullshit that these Republican conservative leaders are doing. They're trying to tap into this small base and they rile everybody up. They don't care about the lives that are ruined. So, like I said, I've been donating to Planned Parenthood ever since that Trump got in office. I encourage everyone else too. They're underfunded and they need your help and your support. What else can we do? Well, I live in California, so we're very liberal and abortion will be legal in the state. But you can call different congressmen, and senators from different states, and also the state legislators. A lot of people forget about them. You can call them up and voice your concern because it's an absolute disgrace. Most of these people making the laws are men. And here's the joke of it. A lot of these guys, these legislators, if you look, were responsible for abortions, right? Like Matt Gaetz. He had these underage or close to age women, and he paid abortions for them. And a lot of these politicians are the same way. They're bullshit. They're hypocrites. You can't tell me that Donald Trump didn't pay for an abortion. No, he did. Okay, so these guys are liars. The people that are hurting are the ones who are unable to support the child. Get out of state. What can we do too? Well, we could try to get money together for them to be able to get certain clinics. Open up clinics that are bordering a lot of these states. I believe like New Mexico, next to Texas, places like that. The problem is what happens when you have all the South now is anti-abortion, or Midwest. then it becomes really difficult to travel to those other places. So yes, getting them money to help those women get the proper health care. And this is what it is. It's a health care. We could try to codify, which means that make it official law in this country. Also, when the elections are coming up, that question must be answered by the politicians. What's your stance on abortion? That is now front and center, and it is probably one of the most important issues because, like I said, they're not going to stop until they get this backwards Christian fundamentalist society. It's going to drag everybody down. So, thank you guys for watching. This is a really big, important issue to all the activists, to all the people that are making this a very important cause. Then you guys are doing a great job. To the people that are restricting women's rights, go fuck yourself, okay? Because you're disgusting. And that's exactly what you are. You're an absolute disgusting person to put this upon someone and ruin their lives, okay? Thank you guys so much. Very important topic. Another episode of the ADD show. Thank you.